been absolutely getting the most out of his guys. Week one, we were all kind of like, is this it? As our defense finally falling off the cliff? Some people were saying that. Chiefs have not allowed a running back to hit 100 yards in 30 straight games. That's playoffs included. They're the number 2 scoring defense over the last 3 weeks since week one, just giving up 16.3 points per game. And since the start of the 2023 season, they've been the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL by a wide margin. So Spags, man, you give him guys, you're undrafted guys, you give him 7th round guys, you give him veteran minimum guys. He's making the most with all the guys he has. I know we talk about how we need another defensive tackle. There's things we've won on the show. Spags never got. I'm sure he's, banging the table for it, but he's never gotten that. But he's made do with it over guys, guys like Brandon Williams who come out of retirement to come play. Bringing Mike Pennell back and revitalizing his career and being the run stuffing guy that sought after one that Cincinnati got when we cut him. I mean, he's done the most with whatever he's been given. And I know a lot of people call him the GOAT defensive coordinator. But JD, when you look at Spags, what is it about him that he's able to maximize and elevate the game of his players year after year after year, even when we think, there's deficiencies in this position, but then it comes down, it's like, whoa. Because, for example, the stopping the run, we thought not having Mike Pennell was going to be an issue this year. And, again, I still think we had Mike Pennell, it would be much better for us than not having him. But, again, our run defense hasn't really missed a beat. And that's without having a run plugger next to Chris Jones.
Man, this is something that we could say dynamic leadership. He understands how to lead his guys. Does a great job of putting guys in position to make plays. And so what Spags believes in, he believes in attacking and, just playing a very stout type of defense. He trusts his guys on the outside too, to go man to man with your best receivers. He trusts those guys. That's what guys want to be able to do. If you want to get your names up in lights, you want to get some notoriety and all those different things, and go one-on-one. That's what you look at, man on man. And so Spags don't mind doing it with the outside guys. He got some guys that, playing in secondary, coming down and making plays too in the box, but also covering guys that he knows, other guys won't do. They won't go with the matchup. Spags don't have no problem with putting the safety on, a wide receiver or a slot guy. You know why? Because he says, I believe in you. So just like any other person out here, whatever position they in, whatever occupation you're in, it's always good to hear that the boss has full confidence in your abilities. Okay. And so Spags is sitting there when he's talking to his guys, he speaks to them in a way that he's talking life into them. He has a conversation that says, hey, listen, I put you here because I trust you. I put you here because I know you can do the job. And so he's already talking to him about them making a play, right? So he's already exuding that type of confidence to a player. So I watched Ty Law talk about Bill Belichick. Ty Law was sitting there saying, like, Bill Belichick was always prepared. So he always knew that when you go into the game, he knew what he was talking about. And he could trust that. So Spags, when he's going into the game, he's letting everybody know what they're going to do, what they're going to look at. He's like, all you have to do is just do what I'm asking you to do. We're going to be fine. We're going to be all right. We don't have to get 1 million sacks. We'll get that in the blitz game. Some guys will go ahead and get, the hustle plays. Some guys are going to get their sacks. He said, but as long as you play within the system I'm asking you to play, you're going to be effective. Things are going to come to you. So you just have to be patient. And so that's what Spags has been able to do. We watched how when they against Lamar Jackson this past week, he went after him, right? Errant throws, interceptions, fumbles, and all those different things, right? But one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He did what's against Trevor Lawrence, who I wouldn't call as a top 10 quarterback. It's going to look even better. We're going to have even more turnovers. So I think that's what it is, Marcus. I think he just trusts his guys. And guys love that a coach has that type of confidence in their abilities, really.
Well, it's one thing that, like, I guess in my years of watching the Chiefs, like going back to, Greg Robinson days, right, to now, I just don't remember a time where we had a defense that we were trotting out like 7th rounders to start the season out, UDFAs to start the season out, and being like, okay, this is interesting. I guess this is like going to be kind of a spot we're going to test it out to see what kind of trades we're going to need to make mid-season. But instead, these guys end up being guys for us. I mean, look, Charvarius Ward was a guy we got Dallas Cowboys practice squad, and he ends up starting for us and then becoming a big-time paid DB in the league. L'Jarius Sneed was a mid-round pick, ends up being a dog with us and then getting paid with Tennessee. All these guys, and Jalen Watson's another good story. Guy who starts week 2 for us on Amazon Prime. It's like, okay, 7th round pick out of Washington State. How's this going to go? Or like, kind of, people were nervous about it, but no, these guys go in, they dominate, and look, I mean, we have diamonds in the rough, and it's like it's not a diamond in the rough anymore because I feel like there's so many guys where he's done this with so many dudes around the years where it's like I expect to come in every season and have Spags find a new gem on our defense just because we keep finding these type of guys who are mid-round guys, 7th round guys or UDFAs, and they come here and they play pivotal roles for us.
Yeah, but he tests them out. He wouldn't bring guys in unless he trusted them. And so I think when you talk about some of these guys who might be journeymen or he's a practice squad other places or late round pick, Spags is sitting there saying, like I told you to talk, he's speaking life into these guys. Okay. And so these are relationships that he's building, not just on the field, but also too about who he is. Spags is looking at these guys and it's like there's more to him than just playing football. I know that's how Spags is. When I was talking to him in camp, I mean, it's just who Spags, his character, his balance of a person. You could just tell, man, he's just a good dude, fully. And so I always enjoy talking to Spags. I do. But you can tell in his heart, man, he knows the game. He knows the game. He's been around a long time to see it all. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do that's going to be able to trick Spags. The thing is, and what I watched, and I said this on the show on Monday, is I love how he has utilized Chanel, also to Menahu, how he's utilized Gelati. Shoot, I mean, who else? Where they're just being so versatile, moving inside and out. So their defensive tackle, defensive end, that's what he's doing. And so that, to me, not a lot of defensive coordinators would do something like that. You're not going to take a Chanel and have him stand up at defensive tackle and rush. Man, I was sitting there watching. I'm like, look at this. You got Chanel playing the 3 technique, standing up. I'm like, why not? Bring speed. And that's part of what some of the things. Bring speed, bring something different that they're not seeing. So I love the complexity that he has, but it's still kind of simplistic, if you will. He's like, look, I'm going to put you in a position for you to make play. All right? This is where you're going to be on this play. This is your job. This is your assignment. All you have to do is just do that, right? And be great at it while you're doing it. I wouldn't have put you in here if I didn't trust you. So guys hear that. They know that. We've seen it like you was talking about. Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, all those young guys we put in when they first got here. We're getting out of them. Noah Williams, right? We're watching Noah. We're seeing what Noah's doing. We got Noah for a reason. And so Noah, when I spoke to Noah at camp, in camp, my assessment of him in our conversation was he was just trying to get everything down. He was like, man, it's a lot. And he seemed kind of like a quiet guy, kind of shy, but we had a good conversation. We really did. Because I was just asking him, I said, look, man, you could trust Spags and those guys. Okay. You got great coaches. You got the best in the business. That's what I told him. He said, yeah, he's starting to figure that out. But he realized like there was a lot going on for a young guy coming into the league, and it is defensively. But when you have a coach that believes in your ability and doesn't mind putting you in there, like, hey, man, get in there. And you wonder, like, wow, I thought I'm going to be sitting out. Now, obviously, Fulton getting hurt helps him out, right? It's just next man up. That's how it is. But they don't mind taking a guy out and just putting him in to say, hey, man, you take his rep. And Noah Williams, for my assessment from where he was at camp to where he is now, he's found himself. He's found his game where he needs to be, and it's showing up big time on film. So
yeah, and the coaching can go a long way with doing that for a player.
Yeah.
Ooh. We can do that, Jeremy. Yeah, we can do that. Well, we're actually coming close to our holiday giveaway coming up soon. Our guy Corey, the artist chief, has sent us, like we did last year, sent us a bunch of stuff to give away to you guys. And so yeah, we'll be doing the same thing we did last year. That just comes with subscribing to the channel and giving us a review on Apple Podcasts. So Jeremy, you're on the right track. We're almost at holiday season, buddy. So we'll be doing giveaways soon, bud. So I saw an interesting soundbite today that I wanted to get your thoughts on. This is from Spags' press conference last week, where he was asked a question about Chris Jones's PFF grade during the Giants game, which I believe was pretty low. Mm-hmm. And they asked him about PFF, and he had a really interesting response about it. And I want to get your opinion on it, because we always laugh about PFF, right? Like we always talk about how there are good things to pull from it, but it's not the end all be all, which is pretty much what Spags said. So I want to get your thoughts on it, because I thought it was pretty funny.
Of course, PFF definitely got to do that.
Chris Jones is usually, I know you guys have your own grading system and everything, but for the ones that are out there, he's usually one of the best. He's not grading much. He usually does. What are you seeing?
What grades are you using?
PFF is what I'm looking at right now.
That's what everybody uses. The only thing, Chris Collinsworth, I think he's a good dude, and he's involved in that company. I don't know how you put a grade on somebody when you don't know actually what their assignment was or what they were being told. So I don't know. It's like from our standpoint, I thought Chris in this particular game had a real big effect on the game. They obviously found ways to double him, whether it was two linemen. The running back at times was chipping inside, which you don't see a lot, because that was the Chris Jones effect. A number of times that he didn't get there, but I think he forced the quick throw or step up. So, from my standpoint, I don't remember what Chris's actual grade was, but I know that at the end of the game, I thought the guys up front, Chris included, had a big effect on the way things went.
How much stock do coaches, when they're looking at PFF, put the stock in that?
Well, I will say this. There's a lot of stuff the PFF puts out that's valuable and useful. My only thing, I think a lot of coaches feel the same way. Chris and I have talked about it. We've laughed about it. And I think their guys do a really good job. And they can be, but I just think there's a margin of error when you don't know exactly what the player was told. It may look like he's made a mistake or a mental error and but it might have been exactly what they told him. So I think that I took a stat class a long time ago, and there's a name for that, whatever. There's a margin of error. This is the only thing I can think of right now. But we get paid to grade our guys and coach our guys and evaluate them. So we're not using that for that. And we're going to, as far as other players and whether we use the grades on other players, that has to come from our eye and watching the tape. So I don't think we would rely on grades, but there's a lot of other valuable information that PFF has.
Very respectful way of saying it's okay, but not my thing.
No, but he makes a valid point. This is the same point I've been making ever since we come in. We start talking about PFF grades, and it's this kind of ambiguous grading system and their metrics based on what, obviously what they created themselves, right? But Spags is absolutely right. They have no idea what play you're running. They don't. They have no idea what your assignment is supposed to be on that particular play. So whether it be offense or defense, unless you know what the scheme is and what the play is exactly what the guy's supposed to do, how are they going to know? And so if they're braiding off of that, then it's just, like I said, it's a little ambiguity right there, right? And so that's why when he said the margin of error, especially with the grading system, is going to be just that, right? Because you're not going to have full context as far as like what it is that you have to actually grade. And so, but like you said, they do have some valuable things on PFF. We can go to them and check these things out and look at it this way, okay? I look at sometimes PFF because if I'm looking for something to be right, I want to go and see if PFF actually, supports my claim, right? Exactly. That's one thing you do. Like, look, we do this with all stats, okay? And measurements on things. So that's how it is in this world. So PFF is no different. They created this this website would just, because of analytics.
Yeah.
This and analytics have a place in football. We used to do it back in the day. Darwin Wallace was our guy. Rest in peace, Darwin. Darwin, we used to call him Rain Man. Darwin would come in with all these stats, okay, what teams are going to do, and the percentage of why they're going to, they were going to do it. And we were doing this back in the day. This is, I'm talking about, this is 2000 when I first got to Kansas City. And we was doing those things. That's how it was working. So it had a space there, like, okay, well, we see some of these tendencies, what you're going to run, what it's going to look like. If it's third down and 5, they have a tendency to run this play 24% of the time. Other one is 54%. And, it's just, and it breaks down just the stats of it. And so that stuff is big business. So you do look at it. But like I said before, you don't know what you're running. How do you shoot?
Yeah, that's a great point. How are they going to judge if you're like, if they think something's a misassignment? How do they know that's a misassignment or that was actually what was drawn up for that player to do? I mean, like that was such a good reason as to why that, like, you can't really go by the grades of what PFF is actually grading.
So like, just give you an example. So Chris Jones gets double teamed. Chris Jones holding 2 guys. Is that saying Chris Jones is getting blocked? Sure. I guess you look at it like, well, he's not really doing his job. He's not coming off. He's not, he's not scraping. And so what does it look like? But Spags is like, man, that's a great job. You're holding 2 guys. We ask, that means one guy's freed up to make the play. So that's an attaboy on Chris's part, right? That's what you do. You give a pat on the back. That's an attaboy on that play. And so you give him a check mark. You give him an A, whatever you grade, your grade system is. And so when I'm sitting over here, when I make my grades, it's somewhat of the same thing that I look at. I don't particularly know. Now, if I know the play that's being ran exactly what it's supposed to be, now I know because I play the game and, these plays are very familiar to me. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, did the guy do a good job or not? And so, I can give you a plus and a minus on this play just through me knowing, what the assignment is. So.
Right, and a lot of the run plays, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like you always talk about, it's pretty much, there's only so much difference you could do as far as run plays and run blocking scheme. It's all window dressing, right? It can look different, but at the end of the day, a 34 dive is going to be a 34 dive or a 24 dive. I mean, it's the same thing. It may look a little different, but like what you said, you were in the trenches. You know how some of those things should be blocked. They just made the formations maybe a little different from play to play, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, what is being run and how it should be blocked. So that's why you versus a guy like Sam Monson or whoever the PFF guys are, like, I don't know, I don't think you know what you're talking about, but
and look, I'm gonna have my own grading system too. I'm gonna do it like based off the steps, how the steps are supposed to look, and then all of a sudden you have to get to the place like, well, did he get the job done? Everything didn't look pretty, but like we said, the other guys on the other side get paid too. Did the man get the job done? Okay, right. He did. Attaboy. We got to be okay with it. But if I start looking at feed, you start looking at step, you start breaking down like the grading system for them and the Chiefs, totally different for it. Mine is going to be maybe from what PFF is going to be. And so, like Spags said, him and Chris, they joke about it all the time. They do. And as they should. Because I'd be sitting over like, man, if I look at PFF, I might have done terrible. And I'm sitting over here and I'm talking about the scheme of things when I'm in the meetings and I'm going through film work, something totally different. So
yeah, I thought it was funny when we had Dave Vermeil on the show a couple of years ago. I remember he said it might have been talking about the same system you were talking about, JD, where he said when we did the game predictions, he's hold on, let me go to my computer and print out my the same it's the same analytics numbers I've been running for years, guys. And then he had that little printout was like a stack this big.
Yeah, that's how we used to get them, man. That's how I used to get them. The Darwin have that, man, and it'd be that thick. You start looking at these, like all these numbers, you're like, dang, God, man. You start looking at tendencies and what they're going to do. And like I said, that does have a place. You start thinking, well, when you're looking at third down, second down, what are they more likely going to run?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think like Spags said, and I think like what we've talked before, PFF has good things to look at. It's not the end all be all, which some people do, because I in fantasy and just talking to people out in public about football. Well, PFF grade is yada yada yada. He sucks because he has a 69 or a 68. It's like, oh, Okay. Did you watch the game? What did your eyes tell you? What does the stats say? It's like, oh, well, stats, whatever. It came in the fourth quarter during garbage time. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, that's when, I guess the one dude, that would always come at me when I would talk about Nick Bolton being a good linebacker.
Right.
I'm just like, what Nick does for us, he does a great job. He does. Maybe don't have to be perfect, but what he does, he's going to be the leading tackler. He's going to be in the place. He's putting everybody in a position where they need to be. The value is there. We understand that. He is invaluable to us. And so, everybody else, oh, well, he's not Fred. Man, ask him to be Fred Warner. You're not asking him to do that. You're asking him to be Nick Bolton in Kansas City defense and being Spags' mind out there on the field. He does a great job of that. So, yeah, that's why I was looking at it. I just kind of, scoff at it. Just, all right, okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. When I heard Spags talk about it, I was like, I had to show you because real football guys really appreciate that kind of comment to it, right? Like, because you're the same the mindset that Spags has when it comes to PFF.
Oh yeah.
Being in the locker room, you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Rich Cooper said, "Does PFF can say how often CJ gets hit without a flag?" No, they don't.
Right.
And it's so blatant to me. That's what really boggles me is linemen will have Chris arms around his waist. He's coming through. And I'm like, how do y'all not call that a hold? How do y'all not even see that? And it's just, I really don't get it. Because I throw a flag every play like, oh man, that's a hold, man. You stop him.
And they grade quarterbacks on and players on turnover-worthy plays. So in the same kind of sense, in the same light, they should penalty-worthy plays, right, for defensive linemen, right? They should have penalty-worthy plays. Oh, this guy's getting held here, so we're going to give him points for this, like they take away points for quarterbacks who have picks that are dropped or balls that are bobbled and stuff. I mean, the same kind of things. They should apply that for other situations. But yeah, it's just nuts. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.